Welcome to the Crystal Coach Show with me, your host, Anahata, helping you live every day with clarity, guidance, and practical wisdom. Are you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, maybe disconnected? Do you ever feel like you don't know how to live a life of peace and joy? I am Anahata Roach, the Crystal Coach, and during this show, we channel divine wisdom through stories of service, spirituality, and stones for self-care. The Crystal Coach Show leaves you with a feeling of connection and the clarity it takes towards becoming the best version of yourself as you hear from thought leaders and many others to help you ignite the crystalline nature of who you really are. Stay tuned. The Crystal Coach Show starts now. Hello, and welcome to the second episode of the Crystal Coach Show. I'm Anahata Roach, and I'm your host, and I am so delighted to be here and to continue this conversation that we had last time with our special co-host, Dr. Pat Baselli. We were talking about shifting out of fear and escaping the prison of fear. And there is so much more that we can talk about. I just thought, okay, we'll do a part two. So I would like to ask you if you could let go of all of your fears, what could your life be like? How would you show up in the world? We're going to talk about practicing surrender and how our need to control our life and to feel like we have some control, it actually gets in the way of receiving the grace that helps us to stay above the fear, to kind of surf over it, that we can feel more connected to ourselves, right? I know for me, I had a moment many years ago, pre-COVID, and I was at a training seminar, and I got the call to really kind of invest in this training. And, it was like a 3-day free weekend, right? So anyway, my fear gripped me. I mean, I literally couldn't have dinner that night because the offer was made and I knew I wanted to do it, but it was more money than I had ever spent on myself, ever. And I just was in knots, literally in knots. And so I went to bed that night and I said, okay, if I'm supposed to do this, I need some help. I need some guidance. And the next morning, before my eyes even, before I open my eyes, and you get this awareness that you're awake, I heard very clearly, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And guess what? I signed up for the program. And it was one of the best investments I'd ever made for myself because it connected me with a lot of like-minded people, and it gave me a platform and a place to learn and grow for myself. So the fear that we have, it can be any kind of fear. In this case, it was a scarcity fear, and a fear of not being worthy of this kind of investment for myself. But when we're trying to shift out of fear, we need to learn this act of surrendering the need to know, or the need to, like I went to bed that night and I said, okay, I'm feeling called to do this, but I need a sign. I need some help. Give me a way in which I can, rationalize this. And boom, I had my answer the next morning and I signed up that afternoon. So the surrendering of the need to know right now, you know, the surrendering of having to listen to fear. See, if you surrender, the resistance comes when there's a learning opportunity, or there is um, a growth opportunity for you. Then you're going to come up against this wall of resistance in which the ego wants to keep you safe because it dies with the body, right? And so the ego doesn't want any change. It doesn't want any transformation. It wants everything to stay the same. And so the more you can say to yourself, well, that's a fear-based thought, isn't it? And the easier it gets to surrender that fear-based thought to more openness, to more receiving. The need to control is just a way to feel secure, right? So, you have your lists, you have your time management, people have calendars and they're organized, and that's the way they control their lives. And that's great. That works for them. But it's an illusion, isn't it? It's like I can feel like I'm in control, but, like what happened with tornadoes. One minute your house is there, the next minute it's not. In 2021, in December of 2021, my hometown that I grew up in, I haven't lived there in years and years and years. Most of my adult life has been away from it, but I grew up there and I have really great memories of places and things in the downtown area. And, my place of worship where I grew up, and my parents brought us, and both of my parents' funerals were in. That place of worship is no longer standing. So what happens when you think you have it all under control, and then something happens and you realize that it wasn't really what you thought it was? So that December thing was the last of a series of things that happened in 21 for me. And it was as if what I'm talking about is practicing surrender. So learning what that is takes a big lesson for someone like me that was really one of those type A, I need to control everything type of people. This was huge. Okay, so the first thing that happened is my husband became disabled. And it was, one day he was an able-bodied person and the next day he was not. And we're trying to navigate that and go through rehab and physical therapy. And maybe, the whole goal is to walk again, to be okay. And that was going on when my dear aunt died, and she died suddenly. She hadn't been sick. She transitioned in her sleep in her own bed. How cool is that? But she left me her estate to manage, and we couldn't find a will, and it went to probate. So there was a lot more complication, and I'd never done anything like this before. It was crazy. So anyway, that happened. And then there was a other series of things. And my mother passed away on Thanksgiving Day, same year, 4 months after her sister. And then in December, my hometown disappeared. Now, I'm feeling like the universe has given me this barbell to hold. Can you handle this? Yeah, it's heavy, but I think I can do it. So, boom, boom, let's put some more weight on. Can you handle this? Oh, yeah, I can do it. I'm strong. I can do this. I've got this. I've got this. And here's some more weight. I'm gonna try, and boom, boom. I can't. I'm on my knees. I can't hold it up. I can't hold it together anymore. I surrendered. I've seen this in so many other clients that I've had that feel like they have to be strong, they have to have it all together, or it's just going to hell in a handbasket, right? At that moment when I just wept because I had to surrender the the illusion that I was strong enough to hold everything and juggle all the balls at the same time without any help. When I surrendered, grace, grace. I've had clients come to that same point, and the grace comes, and they're able to receive in a way they had never received. And the fear of doing it wrong, or the fear of not being perfect, or the fear of just screwing up, that becomes a non-issue. And yeah, that is it in the back of your head. Do you lose that fear? No, no, no. Fear's always going to kind of be there. But what do you do with it? How do you react to it? This is the key to shifting out of fear. And that's why I felt that this session today was important enough to talk some more about that, because I didn't feel like we had actually resolved all of that. So we can shift out of fear by practicing surrender. And that's just releasing control to the divine, without, of course, bypassing. There's a bypassing accountability or responsibility for your own actions. You can't just say, oops, you can fix this, right? No, you have to actually, have to do this yourself. It's hard work. It's very hard work. But when you allow the grace to come in and receive, it really, the energy in your whole body just shifts. All of your 5 bodies, got in physical, energetic, emotional, mental, and spiritual body. And all of those energies just kind of relax when you don't have to hold that fear anymore. We're going to take a really short break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about living in gratitude and what does it take to really turn it around for yourself. What kind of practices can you do to really shift out of fear and focus more on gratitude? We'll be right back. And welcome back. Welcome back to the Crystal Coach Show. I'm your host, Anahata. And I really wanted to, before we start talking about our next subject in regards to the shifting out of fear and releasing that need to control everything, I just wanted to interject that my work is with people who feel stuck or overwhelmed. And I kind of help you remove energy blocks, repair your field, your energy field, clear those old emotional programs that tell you that you're not worthy, that you're just worthless, really. That's an old program I had to get rid of. Help you to reduce your stress by just kind of removing dense energy off your body. Sometimes we just hold too much. There's just too much, and we can kind of let the air out of the balloon, if you will, just drain off that excess energy. And you can get clarity and peace through working with me. I have a myriad of certifications, but the thing that I feel most qualified to do is to help those who are, especially those people, because I came out of corporate. I came out of a long career as a corporate professional and executive, and I I find that the corporate culture and the corporate life is such that people, especially women, get bump up against a lot of resistance and feel like they have to do everything to prove, to get ahead, to be perfect, right? So we get burned out because we're burning the candle at both ends. We're trying to be perfect at work, and then we come home and we've got to do all of the stuff that was left for us to do when we get home. So uh, that's part of, I mean, I've got a lot of tools in my toolkit. And if you'd like to learn more about working with me, you can go to my website. It's thecrystalcoach.com. And if you would like, um, I've also giving away this section, the show. I'm giving away a free gift. It's a book called Crystals in a Crisis. And it's all about how to use and choose crystals and stones for self-care. And the before we end our time together today, I've got a, some stones to show you and how they can support you in different ways. So anyway, that's a little bit more about me. But how do you feel about shifting out of fear and learning to surrender? I mean, have you had any kind of experiences in your life where you just got overwhelmed because it was just so much that you had to do, but you knew what to do, but you couldn't get it done? And there's a fear. There's a fear. The fear of not doing it right, or the fear of too much, you know, not being qualified. Anyway, the best way, once you learn how to get out of fear and surrender and receive, be open to grace, is it's a shift in the attitude. Gratitude is a shift in the attitude, right? And the way you the I always say that to people that gratitude is a portal to joy. I'm constantly saying this to my clients. If you can practice gratitude, it actually elevates your energetic frequency. It helps you to lift up. Fear is a really dense energy. It's something that's visceral. It kind of goes right through you. Usually it's like in your gut, right? I liken the kind of the vibration of fear to whenever you're like driving and you come to a traffic light and you're stopped and it's multi lanes, right? And you've got some dude or dudette beside you who is in a, it's got these huge speakers. It's really souped up the stereo in their vehicle, and you've got your windows rolled up, but the bass is rolling, man. Right? You can feel that. That's fear. That's this visceral vibration that goes through us. Gratitude helps us to shift out of that visceral focus into a more open, open to receiving. See, when you're looking for things to be grateful for, you're looking at the glass half full. When you're looking for things to be afraid of, or things to go wrong, that's your glass half empty, right? It's so simple. That that example's been around for a long time, right? But the fact is, it works, and it's true that shifting your attitude to gratitude and finding ways to be happy about it, even when things don't go the way you think they should go. And gosh knows, I have had several experiences personally recently when things didn't quite go the way I thought they were going to go. Um, you know, like in my home, having things like break, plumbing things, refrigerator, refreezer, just kind of like, yep, I'm done in the middle of a party. And, you just have to, and then, having to pull everything out, having your life, your kitchen's a mess, whatever. It's, it's learning to reframe the way you look at things. And, I really needed to clean out the pantry. And now I have to. I really needed to clean out the refrigerator. And now I have to. Right? It's just you get grateful for the things that show up as challenges, because it helps you get through maybe something that you've been putting off or you've been dreading, and you get through it. And my father always used to say, this too shall pass. And he was right. He was right. But I recommend, if you don't already, start a gratitude journal. If you don't already have one, start a gratitude journal. That's the key. And that I guarantee you that I've seen it time and time again. And even myself, the energy is so profound in how it shifts. One day you're walking down the street and nobody looks at you, and you walk through, you just kind of are existing. You're just walking through life, right? And you go into a store or whatever, and people slam the door in front of you. They don't bother looking behind. Then the next day, once you've all of a sudden opened up to this new frequency, you're walking on the same sidewalk and people are passing you going, good morning, and looking at you and smiling. And you get to the door and somebody's in front of you and they open the door for you. It's consistent. You have to practice it, but it's consistent. And you can start noticing the subtle differences between when you're expecting the worst and when you're expecting the best. It's a little 1 degree shift change in your course. Yeah. But if you're holding a higher frequency, you get more of a divine alignment. I'm actually holding a smoky quartz. It's a Lemurian smoky quartz, and it's also a phantom. And just, I don't know, you probably wouldn't be able to see it if I held it up to you. But anyway, if you could see that there's like an inside little white outline, and then there's the outside top, right? So that's called a phantom. Anyway, I'm holding this so that I can be grounded and present and in my body, because I want to show up in full service for you. And I don't want my mind wandering and going off in different directions. I want to be here for you because I am grateful, so very grateful for this opportunity to connect with you, to be in your ears, to be in your eyes if you're watching live, if you're watching the recording. I'm just so grateful that I have this opportunity to connect with you. And I hope that we'll continue to see each other the first and third Mondays of the month. The Crystal Coach Show. My website again is www.thecrystalcoach.com. And you can find me on YouTube at The Crystal Coach, or on Instagram or Facebook. So let's take a short break. And when we come back, I've got a bunch of stones I want to show you. Hi there, and welcome back to the Crystal Coach Show. I'm your host, Anahata, and we were talking about gratitude and keeping a gratitude journal. The way I always recommend doing that, you could just start um, before you go to bed at night. All you got to do is think of three things that happened that day that you're grateful for. And you can't use the same three things every day. That's cheating. But if you practice, that practice makes the change. Practice makes perfect, right? Um, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Yeah, practice, practice, practice. So, three things that you're grateful for in that day. And it doesn't have to be these huge life changing events. It could be, I was late for my appointment and I made all the green lights getting there. How cool is that? You know, I thought I was out of orange juice this morning and I opened up and there was just enough for one glass. Gratitude. I needed to get something done and I had a sales clerk that was just exceptional. Gratitude. Doesn't have, as I say, it doesn't have to be earth shattering. Just find three things that you're grateful for, that you feel blessed about. It's once you get into the groove of thinking about what happened today, or even in the moment, this is what happens to me now. I'm in the moment. I go, oh wow, I'm so grateful for that, and then I remember it at the end of the day, right? And of course, if you're tired or things, if you had a late night or whatever, you don't want to do it first thing in the morning. Then reflect on the day before and reflect on the gratitude that you want to bring into this new day. It's all good. It just helps. The more you practice, the more you change your frequency. People want, sometimes they get it kind of backwards about manifesting, about how you really bring something to you. They think that if they have something, then they'll get to do something and then eventually be the thing that they want, right? But I got to have this first in order to do that so I can be that. What if you flip that on its head and had this vision of, I want to be that out there in that future self of that's who I am and I want to be her. So I need to do these things in order to have this life that that future me wants to become. So think about having that be vision first. Who do I want to be? What do I want to be? How do I want to be? And then what do I need to do in order to be, in order to have? Then once I get to do, I am already being, I'm doing that which supports that being. And then I get to have the results of all of that. Does that make sense? Anyway, stones. I promised you some stones. So I showed you my smoky quartz for grounding. So when you feel like you just, your head is spinning, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. This is great. And also, I think I mentioned this last episode, hematite. Hematite is the be here now, baby stone. It is. It's the, I want to be present. I want to manifest my life. I am fully integrated. All aspects of me and my soul, my light are integrated into this physical vessel, and I can be here now. So that helps take away all of the, crazy mind. And then if you get stuck, if you're feeling stuck, I don't know. I use this a lot because it is one. It's just an incredible stone. It's a mineral. It's a crystal actually because it's a beryl, but it's called aquamarine. Now, aquamarine comes in all shapes and sizes and all colors. Now it's a lighter kind of a aqua blue, hence aquamarine. And it is wonderful to support your efforts to release that which no longer serves your highest and best good. I I love me some aquamarine. I use it in my meditations. I use it in crystal grids to kind of set some energy up. If I'm really working on something that I'm stuck in and I need to let go of. A lot of times we're from emotional standpoints, especially emotional relationships and things, come and go, relationships come and go, but we may hold on to a grudge or an injustice or that wasn't right, kind of feeling like, you that was done to me. And okay, that's fine. But if you starting collecting, I call them injustice collections. You put them in that bag behind your shoulder and you're dragging it, and it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. Who does that help or hurt? You, right? It doesn't help you. It hurts you because you're the one that's having to carry that trash bag. You're just dragging it behind you. It doesn't serve any purpose aside from just slowing you down. What if you could drop that trash bag? Could drop the trash bag, release all of those grudges and injustices and, shoulda, woulda, couldas. Hmm? Aquamarine helps you do that, just supports you, right? Its energy is that of release. It's a water element, so it's very supportive of the emotional body. So when it comes to emotions, if you want to release them, you can work with aquamarine, and it really helps. So also for uh, some, like, if you really can't, if you're a diehard like I am and can't turn off your head, lithium quartz is an amazing element, storm element of, can you see it? I wish I had something dark that you could see it, but there we go. It's got lithium quartz is a clear quartz that has lithium in it. There we go. So lithium is kind of a pinkish, purplish, lavenderish kind of color, and it helps to calm the mind. The storm element comes through the clear quartz, which amplifies that which is around it. So it's the lithium being contained in that clear quartz then is amplified. So really can help you to, get quiet, get relief. Another way you can have sleep better is if you're, like a lot of us have a lot of things on our minds these days. This is called lepidolite, and it too has lithium in it, and that being the key ingredients to calming. Back in the day, and it's kind of purpley and it's shiny, and it comes sometimes in these really flat wafer like things. You can actually put that in your pillowcase and put your pillow there, and then your head goes on top, right? Underneath your pillowcase, inside, so it doesn't escape, and you can just go to sleep with this back of your head. It really helps you go to sleep. I mean, now, there's another medical issue, aside from just worry and anxiety. Um, you might need more than lepidolite count for you, but it really is a good tool to use to try to see if it helps you calm your mind so you can sleep. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, when we're talking about releasing control and um, uh, allowing for the divine, just surrendering to the divine, this is malachite. This is my big old heart-shaped malachite, and I love it. See the heart in the middle? Isn't it pretty? malachite. It's green, it's got beautiful striations and swirly things, and it's just awesome. Malachite is divine will, not my will, but divine will. It's allowing for the highest and best good to come through you. The uh, just that need to control we talked about earlier, it helps to give you some perspective, to let you go. Yeah. So I use that a lot. Now, let me see here. This is another pink stone I love. It's called rhodochrosite. Isn't it beautiful? It's found in a lot of different places, but I think this piece is from South Africa. Anyway, the vibration of, see, it's that one side's polished and one side's not. The vibration of healing the inner child. So in all of us, we've got this kid that likes to hide and is scared. And things have happened in our childhoods that gave the child some reason to be frightened. But then the child also feels sometimes abandoned or rejected or unworthy. Just the things that a child will make up, the stories and the programs a child will build into their perceptions and their emotional programming, just because they think they are responsible when in fact they are not. Anyway, this beautiful stone helps to heal that. That's that vibration of really bringing all of that wounded child into the forefront so that she can be healed or he can be healed. And we've all got those kinds of issues. And that's one of the things that I do, is I help identify and clear those emotional programs that came to us when we were children, just babies. Okay. This is called pink tourmaline or rubellite. It's another pink stone. This thing's backwards. There you go. Pink stone. I know some of you are just listening. I'm showing this for those that are watching live, but you can catch the recording later and see which stones I'm holding up. But this is called rubellite, and rubellite is inner peace, this vibration of inner peace. So, get you some peace. You start meditating with rubellite, it's really great. Helps you really get centered and feel much less stressed out. And then there's always the good old pink stone of, here he is, rose quartz. And that's always one of my go-to stones. Rose quartz is all about self-love. We got to love ourselves before we can love anybody else, right? I'm going to talk a little bit more about self-love when we come back from the break. We'll be right back. We have been talking about the stones and crystals that are very supportive in helping us shift out of fear, surrender to grace and to the divine, and to live in gratitude. I also wanted to tell you that there's a gratitude stone. I mean, it is the vibration of gratitude. It's called hiddenite, and it is a stone that's found in North Carolina. And I think that's the only place it's found is North Carolina. I could be wrong, but I know it's found in North Carolina, and it's could be that the place is called Hiddenite, North Carolina. That's why the stone is called Hiddenite. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, that has the vibration of gratitude. And if you need some support around you can hold on to that and tap into it. while you're writing in your gratitude journal. And that can help you just really embody that frequency of gratitude. So I don't have anything to show you around that, but Hidden Night gratitude stone. This companion to Hidden Night is called kunzite, and kunzite, Kunzite, kunzite is it's pink-ish, pink. You can't really see the pink, but it is pinkish. Some of them are clear, but the better ones are a little pink. It is the highest vibration of the water element, and it is all about unconditional love. So when unconditional love is joy, yeah, that's the source. Love, we come from love, we return to love, we are love. We forget that though. This can help you remember it. Remember that there is an unconditional love frequency out there just for you all the time. You're not separate from it. You can connect to it anytime you want. We're talking again about rose quartz. Rose quartz is just such a beautiful, loving, soft energy. And I think the more pink it is, the pink is from manganese and or iron. So it's got a little trace mineral in it, in the quartz itself, that makes it this color. But it's just such a soft and beautiful vibrations. It's almost like giving yourself a hug when you hold it. We beat ourselves up. Our inner critic is so mean, so very mean to us. And we could use a little hug now and then. So I find that rose quartz is a really wonderful stone to sit in meditation with, to have around you. There's two stones that I don't think I can get enough of. Rose quartz, and I think I mentioned it last show, black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is such a cool stone because it transmutes negativity into clear light. Really, you can put a piece of black tourmaline on your computer or near your computer, on your desk, at home, around your TV. Negativity always coming out. Transmutes it. You're around a bunch of toxic people. Carry this in your pocket, in your hand. If you have breasts and wear a bra, you can put them in the bra. Anywhere you want. Anyway, those are my go-to stones, black tourmaline and rose quartz, because don't we all need a hug? Yeah. And then, hey, you combine that with aquamarine, and then you can't hold on to something. You just can't. Just you have to really work at holding on to that fear or that grudge or that injustice or whatever negative thought you had that you're holding on to. People, we got to watch our thoughts. Our thoughts are so powerful. The things that we are afraid of and we think about all the time is we're putting that out into that fertile field of the universe. You get those thought seeds of fear out in that fertile field, and guess what? You're going to be reaping what you sow. Fear begets fear. This is why I'm so passionate about teaching folks how to shift out of fear and learn to be in this vibration of love. It's hard. It takes practice, but it really, truly makes a difference. And the more you can clear out of all these emotional programs that say that you're not good enough or you're not worthy or whatever, all of those fears, the easier it gets There's actually a place in the program I have called the Spiral, which I use a lot of crystals and stones as a way to support that. There's a place that you get when you clear something that you truly give no, you know what, give no. That's, you just get to that part where you've cleared it and it's like, yeah, it doesn't bother me anymore. Oh, I just was reminded of my mother. She used to come up to visit me. She was originally from Atlanta, and she never lost her Atlanta accent. She could put that on. She lived in Kentucky for a long time, and she would come to where I am, and we'd go to shop, and she'd say to the clerk, "Well, now, honey, I'm not from here. I'm just visiting my daughter. She lives here." Yeah, Mama, I know you don't live here. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I really, I'm working towards um, having shows where I can take questions online. I mean, you can ask me questions and I can work with you and answer some questions, and maybe even start doing some card readings, just pulling a card for the day, some guided meditations. There's a lot of things that I'd like to experiment with and, try out in this format that I have, this opportunity that I have to, you know, help you come home to yourself. So I'm really take a holistic approach to any kind of healing journey. But if you'd like to know more, you can go to thecrystalcoach.com and learn about who I am and how I got here. And I mean, if you had told me, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago that I was going to be doing this kind of work, I would have laughed because I was totally invested in my corporate career. So, yeah, once you kind of step out of that, it's like you're unmoored from what you have been anchored to or tethered to. The program that you ran, as the program, the American program, right, says you're supposed to graduate high school and then go to college and then graduate that and then get a job and have a career and then get a house and buy a car and, have a family, and yeah, you're going to be happy. Doesn't always work like that, does it? No. So anyway, it has been such a pleasure being with you today. And I hope that you can take away some information today about how you can escape this fear prison that we kind of lock ourselves into, and what kind of stones and crystals can support you in that. And please, if you hear my words, get a journal and start tracking your gratitude, and then notice how your life changes. Notice what's happening around you. You'll never be the same. You'll never be the same. So thanks again for coming to the Crystal Coach Show, and I will see you on the third Monday of this month, and we'll have another great session together. Until then, take care. You have been listening to the Crystal Coach Show, helping you live every day with clarity, guidance, and practical wisdom. With me, your host, Anahata. Tune in every first and third Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where we channel divine wisdom through stories of service, spirituality, and stones for self-care. Feel connected and reside in the vibration of love on The Crystal Coach Show. For more information and to become the best version of yourself, visit thecrystalcoach.com. That's thecrystalcoach.com. See you next time.